Welcome to another episode of the Dynamic Thriving Podcast. I am your host, Marianne Pack, a spiritual medium, author, publisher, and joyologist, guiding you into all things life transformational. And in this series, we are talking to authors who have said yes to keys. And Keys to Joyful Living is our 2024 project. It is a podcast and a book anthology. So these authors have said yes to this project, and I want them to tell you why it was important for them to say yes now. Why is it important now to participate in a project like Keys? So my very special guest today is Lori Raggio, my dear friend and mentor, my coach, who I turn over the mic to when I want to tell my story on the podcast. Lori is always my go-to interviewer, and she takes over the mic for me and interviews me. So welcome, Lori. Thank you so much for coming and saying yes to Keys.
Thank you, Marianne. I love that you said joyologist. I think that's the first time I heard that. I was like, yes.
Yes, I'm in a spiritual group on Monday evenings with another one of our authors, Allison Field, and she has this Soul Connection group. And one of the gentlemen that is in that group, I had kind of mentioned that I was a joy advocate, introducing myself, and he said, "Oh no, you're a joyologist," and I was like, "Yes."
That's
so I have changed.
Somewhere in the book, that's got to be mentioned. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, Lori, for coming. I so appreciate you spending time with us and also being in this project. So we're going to jump right in. Who is Lori Raggio and what good do you bring into the world?
Well, it's so funny with your new joyologist. I mean, I think we're always kind of like reinventing or thinking of different ways to describe who we are and what we do. And some of mine is similar. Some of it might be a little different than we've talked about before, but I really love to talk about being a creation catalyst, a soul activist, and a genuine disruptor. And along with that, being like a transformational coach, and the one that I even like talking about more so is being that geographical soulmate matchmaker.
Yes.
And so, what I really do is I use all of that to support women leaders and entrepreneurs in removing that armor that they've built up over the years. So that they can really show up as this person who totally understands their essence, totally understands their why, and creates that life that they desire and they deserve, but that is aligned with where their heart and their soul is calling them to be.
Absolutely. Yes, I always love that you always say it's the life that we desire and deserve. Yes. That's my favorite. That's my favorite quote from you.
Yeah.
I love that. So, again, our mess is always our message. What we work through always seems to be what our hearts tug at us to use as our message, because we've learned tools and tricks and techniques and methodologies, and I'm calling them in this book and in this podcast series, they're keys, keys to joyful living. And so tell us a little bit about your mess that's become your message and maybe how it's morphed and pivoted and grown, because it's because of our growth that we're continuing this kind of work.
It is. And it's fascinating because Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was on a virtual retreat with one of our mentors, Darla Ledoux. And each time I attend one of her retreats, it really gets me to get back in touch with like who I have been, who I'm becoming, like what is it that I've done and what are my messages or keys. And it was so interesting because even at one point during the 3 days, she said, we have the key to help others. We have the key, we have the keys. And I was like, oh yes, yes we do.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, and so I, getting ready to have our conversation today, I kind of was like looking back to look forward, which is a lot of what I think I support other people in doing. And rather than kind of going through all these details, I kind of did this list of, where I've been to where I am or where I am becoming. And that is kind of taking a look at my challenges and my experiences and my mess, like you talk about it, but how I've used it and how I'm supporting others. So I kind of look through this list, and, my mess, as we've talked about before, included lots of things as I was younger and growing up, from medical kinds of things that led to then an eating disorder that led to, control and fierce independence and kind of this focus on proving and protecting. And so as I was looking, it's like from proving and protecting to really living in the moment and acceptance, from fierce independence to fierce interdependence, from control to surrender, from, as we all know, Darla talks about default energy or ego energy to sourced energy or spiritual energy. Living by default to living at cause and co-creating my reality, from misalignment to alignment, from fear to faith, hope, and belief, from feeling silenced or muted to being unmuted, the not enoughness or even sometimes the too muchness to being just right and being worthy. The focus on the doing and the performing to more of the being and being at choice. Feeling like needing to be safe, but then moving to taking calculated risks and being committed to the change that was really needed in order to have this kind of like lifelong learning. From disappointment or focusing on disappointment to peace. And then the last one, as I was kind of going through all of this, it was like, more of like that imposter syndrome to belief in my magic and my talents and my skills. And when I wrote all that down, it's kind of like, yes, all those things were more the mess and the challenges and the, maybe some of the more difficult experiences to more the being and the becoming and all of those positive things. And that's really what I help other people to do. Yeah. So like you said, our mess, what we've experienced is what we know. And then that there's a comfort there and an understanding there that then we can really support others who are going through, those similar kinds of things. So believe that we do have the keys.
Absolutely.
To share.
Because we know they open doors for us.
Yeah.
We know they worked for us. And of course, not everybody's going to be the same. So that's why there are multiple authors in Piece of Joyful Living, because somebody's message, somebody's way that they worked through their mess to become their message and found those keys that they use to unlock their doors of opportunity off of pure positive potential.
Yes.
Will speak to another person. One may speak to one and one may speak to the other. And that's why I wanted to invite authors to join me in this. Yes, I could have written this book myself, but what a joy to be able to get other people's the keys that they held for themselves and now for their clients. Because again, as more people read these messages, they're going to resonate with somebody in each topic. And as I've said this in other podcasts that I've done, this anthology is a little bit different because it's not one author writing one chapter.
Right.
This book is going to be according to topics, subjects, so that you can flip through the book and you might be struggling with relationships or something else, and it'll be listed by topic so that you can flip to that section and see what all of these authors have to say that are keys that worked for them.
Yes.
So these authors are going to be writing throughout the entire book under the different topics. So I wanted this
Which
book
is fun.
I'm sorry.
Fun.
Yes.
The whole process. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, it's a healing process for us as we write the book.
Yeah.
We're always peeling back those layers. We think
Yeah.
we've worked through our mess, and then boom, another layer gets revealed, and we get to peel it back, and we get to transform, because writing is very therapeutical. It's very healing.
Yes.
So I'm so looking forward to what all these authors, what golds of nuggets and keys of gold that they hold for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why did you decide to join this project, Keys to Joyful Living? Because it's always, when we get a tugging, there's always something behind that. Is why you say it at this time. This is the time I need to join this project.
I think it's several things for me, Marianne. I mean, one, I really believe in the power of transformation, individual transformation, collective transformation. And I do know that, being an author in several other book anthologies has been extremely supportive to me individually, in my business. And I know that it's an avenue for me to share, my thoughts, my feelings, my wisdom, with others. And I have not been a part of a book anthology for about a year now. And so I had kind of over a 3-year, 4-year period of time, very consistently. And so I was feeling again, that calling to do that. And I just think that now we so much need more joyful living. I think we're all on this quest, this adventure to find, how do we live more joyfully? And that might look so different to each person, but everyone I talk to has some version of that. That they're looking for more of that ease, that flow, that joy, that, waking up every morning, going to bed every night, being thankful and grateful for how they live that day. And so I think now is the time. And I do think that, a book like this just really supports, readers in looking at options, like what might be helpful. I think that everybody picking up the book will be able to find themselves and resonate with something that's there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I do too. I just feel like this is going to make such an impact on so many lives of the readers that pick up on it, because then they'll also have, there'll be connection links even within the book, so that if they resonate with a particular author and what they consistently said on all these topics, they can find you authors and be able to connect with you and coach with you with that. If that's where they are at the season of their life, and commit to that transformation in that way. Lori was talking about the other projects. She has been an author in our Unmuted Voices. This was the podcast that she talked a lot about her overcoming her anorexia and that control issue that she had, that she was talking about, where she had to learn to surrender. And it's not surrendering our dreams. It's surrendering the resistance that we're holding our dreams apart from us.
Yes.
So talk just a real short minute about your chapter in Unmuted Voices.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I think even, I think part of my own experience, and I think this happens for other people too, is that we learn something and then we realize that we no longer can go back to where we were before that learning. Okay. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to be tugged in that direction. And so it's always looking at, are we committed to the new way of being beyond what might be fearful for us.
Yes.
And I think I'm reminded of that daily in the choices, that I make, in the clients that I, agree to work with, or the people that I surround myself with in my life. And so I think that chapter was a lot of, looking at control may have been something that was extremely helpful to me throughout my life. But the majority of trying to be in control is no longer helpful. And so what am I committed to do? What are the actions I'm going to take, to kind of let that go?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even for our authors, we never know exactly how it's going to affect people who read the book, and even within their family. Because even, Lori, you mentioned that even your sibling relationships, improved after they got to read your book and understand your chapter, and actually understand kind of what you were going through, because it hadn't been as much talked about. And other authors said the same thing.
Yeah.
Relationships changed, business opportunities changed, things opened up, relationships with fathers changed, it just was just beautiful. And I believe that Keys to Joyful Living is going to do the same thing.
Oh, I did too.
I just believe that this is going to be a really important book for so many people. So what are you kind of looking forward to on the journey through Keys to Joyful Living? What are you expecting out of it? What are you hoping and dreaming that you might get to receive or give even?
Yeah.
The community.
Well, I think it is the whole piece for me about the giving and the receiving. I need to focus a little bit more on the receiving end. So I think that's one of the things that I'm hoping. I've been looking for more ways to collaborate. This is one of those ways. It's working with similar minded, spiritually focused women who want to make a huge impact and leave a legacy just like I do. And here's one of those, opportunities to do that, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to support other people. And as you mentioned earlier, Marian, it's like there is a healing that happens every time we're a part of a book like this. There's a piece of us that walks away with something so special that I don't think I've experienced other than when I have participated in a book anthology.
I have to agree, because every time even that I've been in anthologies, it's been, there's always something, another light bulb in the soul moment, or another growth spurt.
Yes.
So
yes.
What would you say to somebody who's maybe looking at joining Keys, and what would you have to say to somebody that maybe wants to be an author with us?
Well, it's interesting because there's clients, and there's also friends and colleagues who I have talked to about this. And, they've wanted to be more visible. They wanted to have a format to kind of share what they're learning, share their own wisdom, share their own keys. And so I think it's a great opportunity to do that. I mean, it certainly is an easier process than trying to write your whole book on your own. It's fun. It is collaborative. There are, opportunities to really connect with others that might not happen if you were just to do your own book. And again, the whole healing process. So there's people that I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm actually kind of holding space for, hoping that they will join us. And as you know, I've had clients join in the past, and it's just such a special, opportunity. So
yes,
I don't know. I'm still
in Unmuted Voices, there were what you brought 3? I think
I think
brought 3 clients in with her who just jumped at the chance to be in an anthology because they'd never written before. One of them had never been on a podcast before. I know because she told me. And, it was just such a beautiful growth thing for them to join their coach. And, we have author meetings together, so you get to visit with one another. And it's such an enjoyable time to be in amongst the spirit of energy of beautiful heart-centered sourced women. So where can people connect with you?
They can connect with me on my email, which is lori@inspiredgreatnesscoaching.com, and also my LinkedIn, which is under my name. And I would love to connect with anyone who, has, I don't know, maybe a little tug at something that I've said, or have a question or curiosity. Yeah.
Yes.
Very interested in just connecting and collaborating.
Yes. Yes. Tell people just really fast about the why. And then I want you to touch on your geographical soulmate. Don't give them any goodies because
no.
the book for that section. But
yeah.
So there's an entire program for geographical soulmate matchmaking, where your spirit is calling you, where Mother Earth is calling you to be.
Yes. Yeah, I can touch real quickly on those two. And then before we go, I'd love to read a poem that just popped up from another coach that I think many of us know, that was just like, I don't know, right on today. But a geographical soulmate is really that geography, that place in the world where our heart and souls are being called to. And it might change throughout our lifetime, but it's actually a physical location that actually helps us to be healthier. It supports our emotional health, our physical health, relational health. It's just kind of that place where you feel different and you can thrive. And so helping people to find that place and kind of get situated in that place. And then the why is it's a particular tool that I use to help people to really tap into foundationally, what is their why? Like, why do they get up in the morning? Why do they do what they do? And I think it really helps to kind of get us grounded in just how we even want to make decisions. What do we want to base that on? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I love those. I love that you provide this, and much of this kind of work that she does with clients is going to be spattered throughout the Keys to Joyful Living anthology. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Lori, for joining me. And if anyone knows someone who might be interested in this, you can let them know that they can find the application, the information, and the application at envisiongreatness.com/apply. And you can find all the information there and see if it resonates with you, or if someone that you know. And please, like, comment, and share on this. It helps my work go around the world. And I just want to thank you again, Lori, for being with me. And do you have any parting words of wisdom you would like to leave us with today?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, Marianne.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is from a coach, and it's called, it's by Sapphire Rose, which I don't know if some may have heard of this individual before, but it's called She Let Go. And it says, she let go. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all of the memories that held her back, She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't go do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face, a light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's just that letting go, that surrender. And again, it's not surrendering your desires and your dreams, the life you desire and deserve. It's not surrendering that. It's not letting go. It's letting go of the resistance that's holding you back from all of that.
Yeah.
That's what we're letting go. And that is a key.
It is. It is definitely a key.
Yeah. So thank you again, Lori. I just so appreciate you and love you and adore you. And I just wanted to thank you again for spending some time with us and letting us know why joining Keys to Joyful Living was so important for you.
Well, thank you so much, Marianne, for birthing this and for being the visionary and for inviting us to be a part of it.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And remember, you are joy looking for a way